Hi, this is Chris Bertelson with a quick clip from Nevada Learning Series. Are you lost? Find your way with Maps on the iPad 2. One of my favorite programs on the iPad is Maps. And if we touch Maps, the first thing you see is a little blue dot. That indicates my current location. And if I touch the directional arrow up at the top, it turns blue and it zooms me into my current location. If I touch that directional arrow a second time, it now orients the map according to how I'm pointing in the world. And if I rotate my iPad, you can see that it's rotating to show that change in orientation. If I touch that directional arrow another time, it goes back to pointing to true north. So that's endlessly fun in many cases, but I want to search for something. So I'm going to touch in the search window in the upper right-hand corner, and it shows me a list of recent searches that I've done in case I want to repeat any of those. But what I want to find is a locksmith. So I type that, touch the search button. It looks them up, and it puts a list of pins or locations of locksmiths in my area. I can touch any of these red pins to identify those locksmiths. I can also pull up a list. In the right side of the search window, there's a list button. And if I tap that, I can see a list of these, and I can tap on those, and it takes me to those locations on the map. Touch the list button again, and the list disappears. If I want information about this locksmith, I touch the info button on the right, and it opens up a window that has their address, their phone number. I could get directions to and from that location. I could even add it to my contacts or share that location. To close this window, you simply tap away from the window, and it disappears. To remove those pins from the map, you tap in the search window and hit the X on the right, and it removes those pins. I like that you can touch these maps and pan around. I put my finger on the map and I can move up and down, left and right. If I want to zoom in, I can double tap, tap, tap. That zooms me in. Tap, tap again, tap, tap again. I can zoom in. If you tap once with two fingers, it will zoom out on the screen. So one tap, two fingers, takes me out. A double tap with one finger takes me in. I can also pinch my fingers apart to zoom in on the screen, pinch them together to zoom out on the map. We have different views of this map. In the right-hand corner, if I touch that little gray space where the page is curling, I can see other maps that I could use. I want to put a terrain map on there, so I touch that. And there I can see the terrain there in Des Moines, Iowa. Let's curl that up again and go to a hybrid map. This is a combination of the classic road map and a satellite map, which is a picture from space. And there we can see some details. If I pinch and zoom, I can zoom in on that view right there. And there's the golden dome of the Iowa State Capitol building. If I touch and hold my finger on the map, it drops a pin in that location, and it looks up the address. If I want to relocate that pin, I simply touch the head of the pin with my finger and hold it. And now that pin is floating around. I can move my finger, and you can precisely position it where you want. When you release your finger, sticks the pin in and looks up the address. Again, you can touch the blue I button on the right, and it pulls up an info screen. And I want to add this to my list of bookmarks. So I type Add to Bookmarks on the right, and let's call this the Capitol East. Capitol East. We'll go ahead and save that. If you want to remove the pin from the map, you simply touch the button that says Remove Pin at the bottom. Now we've removed that pin. Another way I can look up addresses is to touch the book icon just to the left of the search window. And this lets me look up from my contacts list any addresses. Down at the bottom, I can touch Recents and look up recent searches that I've done. Or on the left, I can touch Bookmarks, and there's a list of bookmarks that I've created. If I want to remove any of these, I touch Edit, touch the red bar, and say Delete to edit those bookmarks. Let's go back to the map view, the classic. I'm going to be visiting a friend in Chicago. So I'm going to look my friend up in contacts. His name is William Carthage. There's William. Touch on that. And if I tap on his address in contacts, it looks it up in Maps. You can also use Maps to give you directions. At the upper left-hand corner, if I touch the Directions button, now I have on the right at the top directions from my current location to William's house on East Highland Avenue. I want to go from William's house to the Art Institute downtown, so I'm going to reverse the direction of this by touching the arrow in the middle, and that has now swapped those two locations. And instead of going to the current location, I want to look up a location. So I tap my finger in that field, and I just start typing ART. The Art Institute I have in my contacts list, so that looks that up as a suggestion. I tap on that, and now it's identified and routed from William's house to the Art Institute. Let's zoom out and get a bigger picture. There I can see in blue the full route from William's house down to the Art Institute. And if I look in the blue box down at the bottom, you can see that this is giving me driving directions. It tells me this is about 21 miles. It'll take 32 minutes to get there. Now before I drive in Chicago, I want to check the traffic. I can do that with Maps by touching in the lower right-hand corner. And you can see there's an overlay there for traffic. I'm going to turn that on. Close by touching the gray background. And now it's looked up the current traffic in Chicago. All the principal streets now are colored, and it is green, yellow, or red if the traffic is moving fast, slow, or not at all. And it looks like there's a lot of stopped traffic on my route downtown. So I'm going to consider another alternative. Let's turn off that traffic overlay. Tap in the right-hand corner. Turn that off. Tap again. Another alternative I have is to walk downtown. I enjoy walking a lot, so I touch the little walking person at the bottom. And there's the route I would take if I were to walk. It is a shorter distance, but it's going to take a lot more time, 6 hours, which is more time than I have. So I'm going to look at public transportation. That's always a great way to travel. So I touch the bus at the bottom. And there's the route I would take with a combination of riding the bus and the train. I need to know when I should get started, so I touch the clock in the right-hand side of that box. And that's a list of different transit times. Those look pretty good. If I want to look at some more, I can say load more times. And I think that 10:08 departure looks nice, so I touch that, and that's going to be my transit time. I touch done to close out of that. And when I'm ready to start, I hit the start button on the right side. And it shows me the first step in my journey. If I hit the right arrow, it'll zoom in and show me precisely what I need to do. First, I need to walk to the train station. And then I touch the right arrow. And it shows me where the train station is and what I need to do next. If I want to see a list of all my directions, I can touch the list button on the left-hand side of the blue box. And there's step by step how I'm going to go from William's house to the Art Institute. And what I like is it even shows me transfers that I need to make along the way. My destination is the Art Institute. I tap on that. And there I can see the Art Institute on the map. If I touch the person button on the left side of that tag, that takes me into Street View, which is a street side view of that location. I can touch my finger on the screen and swipe to the right to pan the camera to the left. And there's one of those famous lions in front of the Art Institute, one of my favorite museums in the whole world. If I want to go back to the map, I touch in the lower right-hand corner on the map symbol, and it takes me back to the map. So I think you can see that Maps is a great program for finding where you are and telling you where you need to go. And it's one of my favorite programs on the iPad. This has been a quick clip from Nevada Learning Series, helping you get the most from your Apple iPad.